What position do you prefer to be in to enjoy?
I'm on my back. Other than MAFS,
Yeah.
do you do this profession?
Yeah, definitely. I'm a therapist.
You're a therapist. How long is the process for you when you're like matching people?
But yeah, there's lots that go into it, like in terms of like sexual compatibility, interests, hobbies. Lots of tests that are done like around narcissism.
How do you spot a narcissist?
Oh, what's a good question?
That is tea. Do you feel like the dating apps work?
When you said that, the first thing that I thought was no, dating apps are a business.
Has being on the show changed how you are?
I think it's definitely given me more tolerance around people's behaviours.
Yes. And you have a game.
Yes, I
A
do.
sex game.
Yes.
I love this. Show me the game.
Yeah, so these are my sex quiz cards. What position do you prefer to be in to enjoy oral sex?
What's this one where I can't? What's that one? I'm on my back. I love listening to music.
Yes, that can be really good. Very.
I think you go to the beat as well.
Yeah.
like if it's Pussycat Dolls, I'm like, it's like really, hey. Then we're hair flipping. Hello everyone and welcome back to another episode of Spill with Will. It has been a mad week and we are on our way to 10k subscribers, so make sure you tap that notification bell and subscribe if you enjoy this episode. Today I'm joined by a MAFS icon. It's Charlene! It's been chaos today. Thank you so much for coming. We'll give a brief story. Basically, we had a makeup artist booked in who cancelled the minute Charlene got here, and I had to do Charlene's makeup, but thank God I've got the skills and I can do makeup that I ran to Superdrug, stressed myself out, and that's never happened before, but I made it work, and thank you so much for coming.
No, it's okay. Things happen for a reason, so
We connected.
Yeah.
Thank you so much for coming on because I'm a
Pleasure.
massive MAFS fan and I feel like I've had you at the perfect time when MAFS has just launched.
Yes, this is the best time to have me on.
But I also want to talk about as well because obviously I know we all know you from MAFS, but you're
Yeah.
also aside from that an expert.
Yes.
I want to know like what are you an expert in specifically?
Good question. I'd like to just start by saying sex, but
Yes.
there's probably more to it than that. So I'm a psychosexual therapist. People usually only hear sex in that, but actually I'm a relationship therapist as well. But I'm also a psychodynamic counsellor, which isn't as sexy, but sort of digging deep into like what's going on unconsciously for you, looking at childhood patterns, that type of thing.
So like deep into like what is going on in that individual person's life.
Yeah, and kind of like why we make the decisions that we make, like where it's come from, what's going on unconsciously, what's been played out here from a childhood situation. Like it's all of that. It's a little bit deep.
How did you get into that?
So many moons ago, I was working with young people, working as like a life coach. And part of that work was teaching them about sex education. So it was a classic, putting the condom on a banana type thing. And
Done that a few times.
yeah,
Been there.
I showed it.
It's very important to use protection.
It's important to use protection, and it's important to put the condom on the right way and all that kind of stuff.
You say
Right.
this the other day. I mean, TMI. I did meet up with a guy, and I forgot how to put a condom on someone.
Right, there you go. So it does happen, right? You need practice. That's what it is. Mm-hmm. You need some practice.
Well, because obviously I'm always on the bottom bunk, so I would never really know how to be on the top bunk. You know what I mean? So you're a sex therapist.
Yes.
What made you get into it?
So, okay, I give different answers depending on different platforms, but here I'll say the truth. So,
Yes, we love it.
So I think it probably started from my own personal experiences of having sex and everyone saying orgasms are really great and you really need to orgasm. And I was thinking like, I was like Google searching how to have an orgasm because I was like, this isn't that great. And that's not to say that the guys weren't great. I'm sure they were, amazing in their own ways. But I think for me, it then sort of led me onto a journey of like self-discovery. And then the more people I spoke to, the more people I realised actually no one really knows what they're doing. And yeah, and then birthed Charlene.
Yeah. Well, you say this, and like it's funny you say that because I know so many of my friends have never actually experienced an orgasm.
Right.
Because guys don't know how to do it.
Yeah, I think that's the thing. But there's a lot of miseducation out there as well. And I think people are not sure what works for them, what turns them on, what turns them off. They don't feel confident to have the conversation with a partner. There's this whole myth about what sex should be like, what it should feel like. And, you know, when you ask people the question, like, what turns you on, like, what actually does it for you, oftentimes people are a bit stumped because they're like, I don't know.
Yeah. Did you watch Virgin Island?
Do you know what? I didn't, but everyone and their cat told me I should.
This opened my eyes to the sex education,
Right.
to understanding, because I think for me, I'm very confident in that like area.
Yeah.
But I think I really understood why it can be so intimidating, like the education part of it, and like even doing sex. For some people was really scary, so I think you need to watch Virgin Island.
Yeah, well, do you know what I think? I mean, but it sounds like it's a really, really good show. But if you think about it, when you're young, you want to learn to ride a bike or to drive a car. There's like either a manual or some proper instructions on how to do it. When it comes to sex, there really isn't that many instructions that you're given.
Taboo, isn't it?
It's very taboo, but you're kind of expected to just get on with it. You're an adult now. Go and do your thing. And you know, it doesn't quite work like that. You know, if you're anxious, if you're stressed, if you're worried, if you don't have good like confidence about your body image, about your relationship, it all impacts sexual functioning.
Do you feel like porn has a massive impact in that? Because that's kind of the education we kind of get, I would say.
Yeah.
Especially like when I think about the first time I watched anything like porn-wise, I was like 14, 13.
Right.
And that's the first time I got exposed to like what sex really is.
Yeah, the thing is with porn, I think if you know about what sex really is and what it should be, then porn can just be a bit of fun. But oftentimes we have no real sex education, and so porn becomes like our sex education, doesn't it?
Yeah.
And that could be a bit dangerous because you're thinking that everyone's penis should look like this, breast should look like this,
Body image.
all of that. Yeah. And also like with porn, they have all these categories that they consider taboo, and taboo is just like normal, really. We're talking about, well, some taboo really isn't normal, but some of the taboo, like hairy, it's just like, but we're born like, and part of puberty you get hair, and if you're an adult you should have hair. But in porn it's like it's taboo, it's the word, you know, or black people, you know, ebony is like, you know, taboo, and it's like, no, there's a lot of black people in this world now.
It's very true. Yeah, all of the subjects. It's true. Even on like, I don't know if you know about like Grindr. There's like there's like types and names for like different certain things, and I hate that because it's like, what are these labels?
Yeah.
Like we're just gay guys. Like doesn't matter what label you are to have to fit into this like box. Like there is these like labels in the gay community, but that's really interesting you said that.
Yeah, do you know, it's funny, I feel like we all kind of follow this like sexual script of like how things should be, what things should be called, how we should respond to something. And my message is, do you. Well, I mean, literally you could do you, but not just in terms of that. I'm talking about just like make sure that you know what works for you, and if you don't like something, it's okay to not do it.
So other than MAFS,
Yeah.
do you do this professionally full time? Like you help people and you like almost like, it's like therapy in a way?
Yeah, definitely. I'm a therapist.
You're a therapist.
So I see people virtually, individuals and couples, and a range of issues around sexual dysfunctions. It could be issues in relationships around like trust, communication issues. I mean, literally anything to do with relationship and sex.
Have you heard it all?
Pretty much.
Does anything surprise you, or are you just like, is every...
Not really. Not really. Because I think that we all have like little quirks and little fantasies that we don't maybe say out aloud. But, you know, the therapist in me, I'm always curious. Like, I'm like, where's this come from? Like, so that's what I'm more curious about.
Yeah,
but,
where does it come from? Like childhood? Like, is it like something that's
or
deep
past
down?
experience somehow, relationship, something that a partner has exposed you to or kind of encouraged you to be a part of. You know, like our bodies and minds do some amazing things if we allow it to. So, yeah.
Well, I'm booking in. This is kind of a therapy session anyway. We haven't had a proper chit chat. So you do obviously Married at First Sight.
Yes.
We love you on Married. That's how I knew you from Married at First Sight, as the expert that brings out her bag of tricks. And that's how I see you as. How did you get onto the show?
So I wish the story was as sexy as my career, but literally, so I was on E4 Sex Clinic initially, 2020 I think it was, so just throughout lockdown, and that, I'm not sure if you remember that show. That was where they did like sort of the live STD checks, like so the whole swab and
yes, I remember this.
So that was very much that was a lot of fun. And then that's a Channel 4 production. So you know, once you work for Channel 4 and you kind of, it just opens, I think, other doors, and because they know me, and then I got a call to be on Married at First Sight, and we didn't know how big it was going to be at that point, because of course the Australian version is huge. That's doing
We didn't
really
know how
well,
the
right?
UK one was going to be.
We didn't know. No, some people call, like, they sort of say the before and after. So we had like 5 seasons of what they call the boring Married at First Sight. I don't say it very often because Paul was on that one. And
When did you join?
Yeah, I joined when it got crazy.
Yeah, it was the Charlene effect.
Yeah, I made it. I made the show. But yeah, so I've been on for 5 seasons, and it's just gone from strength to strength.
Wow, I love that.
Yeah.
What's been like the biggest shock that you feel like you've overcome with this?
On the show. I don't know. I think like, I say relationships don't shock me, but then they sometimes kind of do, because I think with Married at First Sight, you can have one week where all the couples are doing really well and they're really happy, and the next week you're just like,
what the hell happened? I know.
Yeah, and I think, and that's probably reflective of real life, right? That we know with relationships, it's up and down. So one day you could be swinging from the chandeliers, having the best sex ever, and the next day you could be over.
Yeah,
like
it's very
it
true.
could be literally like that, right? So I think there's always lots of shocking moments. Obviously, any kind of wife swap, couple swaps, always very shocking.
Ooh, it gets messy. As
does.
much as I love Married at First Sight, it pisses me the fuck off. Like, sometimes I'm watching it, like, I get angry.
Yeah.
Because I think it's because as well, like, I think everyone loves it when, like, they obviously go down the aisle and you don't know who it is. But it's crazy how picky some people are with, like, looks and stuff. And I just think, and I'm going to talk directly into the camera, if you're going to go on Married at First Sight, you have to be a little bit open-minded.
Yes.
With the fact that, you've been paired with this person other than just the looks. There's a reason why.
Yeah, there's much more to it. But what I would say is this. I know, like, at the moment, a lot of our brides and grooms are getting a lot of slack from the general public, and some might say rightly so.
Hi. I am the general public and I'm pissed off.
And I get it, because some of the behaviour isn't great. But what I would also say, maybe this is a therapist in me, right?
Okay.
Okay.
Trying to weigh it out.
Yeah. Well, I kind of think to myself, well, we're all kind of guilty of some of these behaviours.
That's true.
Right? So there are situations where we might have a partner, the partner's got on our nerves, and we're sort of telling our friend, oh my gosh, they got to get on my nerves so much, you can never believe what they did in the bedroom. Like, sometimes we overshare, right? But I suppose the difference is we're not doing it to like 10 million
That
people.
is true. Yeah. I just think you have to be a little bit open-minded to, like, you're not going to get, like, exactly your type.
Right.
But then I think as well, there's a reason as why you have been single, because you're going for the same type of guys or girls.
Yeah.
So if I was to go on Married at First Sight personally, I would be very open-minded to whoever is going down the aisle.
Have you put your application in?
I haven't yet, but at this point, if I'm still single in the next 3 years, my application is being put forward in.
Please do. But you're right. The key is to be open. I suppose the classic line is, I'm really open to trying to do something a little bit different. And then they will maybe meet their partner and they're like, oh, this is not, like, there's no spark there.
Blinking spark.
There's that whole thing about spark, isn't there? People have the ick and all that kind of stuff, and they're not tall enough, they're not short enough, they're not this enough, they're not that enough. But we've seen with this season that there's definitely a couple that have gone from strength to strength, and the spark wasn't initially there, and they have developed and grown.
It's crazy how, like, 1 week it's so different, and then the week after it's like it just changes, and it's like, what? It moves so fast.
Yeah, well, it's real life. I mean, I suppose we're seeing it in a very condensed version of Married at First Sight, but I suppose we're all guilty of it to some extent, right?
How long is the process for you when you're, like, matching people?
So probably a good, like, couple of months. There's lots of elements to it. I feel like it's the kind of, like, KFC recipe where you shouldn't really tell anybody what we do.
Yeah.
But
No, I get that. Yeah.
But we're in a private space here, right?
Yes,
We're
of
amongst
course.
friends, like, this is just between us, right? But yeah, there's lots that go into it, like in terms of, like, sexual compatibility, interests, hobbies. Lots of tests that are done, like, around narcissism and just communication style, things like that. So obviously we see lots of the memes on social media where they're like, this person likes fish, this person likes fish too, let's lock it in. Like, it's
no,
really
I can
not
imagine
like
it's
that.
like a proper, like, you look into everyone's profile. Do you ever look at star signs? Do you believe in that?
Do I believe in it? Yes. Well, do I believe? Yeah, I do believe
In like
in it.
star sign compatibility, like when, like, you're meeting someone, should I be thinking like,
Yeah.
is that a star sign like compatible with mine?
Well, it's not part of the MAFS process, but I do feel like there's truth in it. Yeah, I feel like there's truth in it.
Well, I'm a Cancerian, and I feel like I'm very emotional, very
Right.
much wear my heart on my sleeve.
Yeah.
So yeah, I definitely would say I am my star sign.
And who would you most gravitate towards?
Ooh, they say Aries, but I don't
Yeah.
know. I don't think I get along with Aries or a Capricorn.
Oh, okay. So I'm Aquarian, so I think Capricorns and Aquarians don't normally work very well together. I think we find Capricorns a bit boring.
How do you find Cancers?
I don't think I know. What, apart from yourself?
Apart from me.
Mainly. What year is that? What month? Sorry, is that?
July.
Ah, yeah, I didn't know. I think we'll get on well.
Yeah, I think we get along
right?
well. We do. When was MAFS filmed?
So we normally film like February time. So
It was a while ago.
yeah. So what you guys are seeing now is kind of probably filmed like February and March time. So
Wow.
it was a while ago.
How
yeah.
did you find this season, like just overall in like a nutshell?
Yeah, I mean, I think speechless is probably
No
I
words.
feel like it's different from any of the other brides and grooms we've ever had. I think the topics are very different. There's a moment that will be seen, I think, very soon around girl power. There's definitely a standing ovation moment. So there's some great topics this year. Topics about PDA and communication style and things like that, and sexual compatibility, sexual pace. There's some great stuff,
Yeah, I feel like when you watch MAFS, you really like look into things that I wouldn't really ever like speak about or know about. And one thing I love about the MAFS UK version is as well, I find it such a diverse cast always,
yes.
and I think that it just represents the UK very well. I feel like even like last year having Ella, like the first ever trans girl on the show, and like this year there's a lesbian couple, there's a gay couple. I just find that it's just amazing to watch because it just feels like I feel represented watching it, if that makes sense.
Yeah, absolutely. And it's funny, isn't it? Because it feels like it represents the UK and definitely represents London. And yet there are so many reality shows that you don't see that kind of representation.
No, never.
And you're just like, are we in the 1980s still? Like, why? There are people out there that want to be on these shows. Like, why are they not being cast to be on the show? So I'm very proud to be a part of Married at First Sight, where we see everyone.
It just feels like it's like a representation of like the UK London, like all different types of people. Yeah. And that's why I love watching the show, I feel like.
Lovely. That's good. Yeah, it's good. Nice to hear. I think what's lovely is to see people that look like you. And I think
that's it, I think.
Yeah. And I think for so many people, that's not what their experience is. So, yeah.
Yeah.
Love it. Yeah.
I saw a TikTok there recently where you spoke about how you felt there was a bit of, like, you wish that black people applied more.
Yeah, absolutely. So I think, I sometimes get a lot of DMs where people are saying, oh, we need to have more black people on Married at First Sight. And I would say, yeah, that would be great. Like, more of you need to apply. Yeah, and I think I got a little bit of backlash from that because people, like, I don't know, people got issues with everything right now. But I just feel like, yeah, if you want to be on Married at First Sight, then apply. If you want a black love story, then apply, and we'll do our very best to match you. But if you're not applying, then because oftentimes the people that are complaining are not the people that they're not applying. So anyway, I could talk about this forever, but
Okay, what's the biggest misconception from the show?
I suppose probably that it's scripted. I think that's really frustrating every time I hear that. And the reason for that is because, for example, when you look at the commitment ceremony, if you know Paul, Mel and myself, you will know that what we're saying, those are our words. Like, we are frustrated when we're frustrated. We're happy when we're happy. Like, our face expressions say it all. And
they do kill me. The facial expressions when you're all like shocked at what just happened, like, yeah,
we're quite expressive, and sometimes you kind of forget the cameras are on you, right? So it's kind of like you're having a conversation like this, and someone's saying something, you're like, no, you're lying, that's not true. But of course you don't want to say you're lying, so the way that we would word it is, like, let's unpack what you're just saying, so we might say it in a different way. But yes, I think that's the biggest misconception, that it's scripted, because it's not.
Is it really hard to tell sometimes what people's intentions are going on the show? Because sometimes, I guess, some people, obviously you're going on a TV show, some people would go on the show for either a platform, and is it easy to spot that?
I would say so. I think the reality of it is this. Like, if you're going on Married at First Sight, you know that if you find love, phenomenal. That's the goal, right? But you know what comes with that is that you're on TV, like any TV show, and that there might be some positives that come with that. So I don't think people are blinded to what you can also get from being on Married at First Sight. But I think the process is so in depth that if you're going on it for the wrong reasons, you probably want to jump off that ship really quickly, because we're digging deep.
Yeah. Do you feel like you also, like yourself, connect with these couples and these people so much because you literally find out so much about them?
You do, and you want them to win. Like, you want it to work for them. You know, I think you've seen me probably in tears way too much on Married at First Sight for years. And, you know, you really become invested in their journey, and you want them to win. You want love to happen. And so when they're so excited and so hopeful, and then maybe a partner says, "Oh, I'm not really into you anymore," you could just see the heartbreak in their face. It's hard to watch that.
I can imagine. That's making me feel a bit like, it's quite sad.
It is really sad, and the tears are real. And this is why when people are like, "Oh my gosh, it's so fake," I'm like, have you seen some of these tears?
People are in floods of
broken
tears.
sometimes.
Yeah,
Because, and you know, this I think relates to a lot of us when it comes to relationships and breakups. So a lot of times we can relate to these experiences.
What would you say? Would you say like being single has like a bad name?
Yeah.
I would say so as well.
Oh gosh, yeah. I mean, I say this all the time. I feel like, you know, if you say that, so I always say I've done both, right? So I've done the relationship, I've done single, and I feel like when I say I'm in a relationship, people are like, oh, okay. They don't ask, is it a good relationship? Is it a quality relationship? Are you happy? They don't care. The tick box is you're in a relationship, so you're a part of the crew. If you say you're single, you get a, oh, okay.
You do?
Yeah, you get a, don't worry, you'll find someone.
You do.
You'll get that, right? And I feel like, actually, I work with a lot of couples that are not happy. I work with couples that their social media looks amazing, like they're the best couple ever, but I know that one of them or both of them are crying themselves to sleep every night, and their mental health is severely impacted. So, you know, you're just like, if you're going to be in a relationship, make sure the relationship is a quality relationship and you're happy. Not that it just looks great on the outside, but on the inside, it's actually meeting your needs. And if you're single, make sure that whether it's behind closed doors or in public, that you're happy. Like, either way, it's about make sure you're happy.
Yeah. How would you say, like, do you stay happy being single?
Find things that bring you joy. Find things that bring out the best in you. So, you know, for example, spa breaks are always beautiful. Holidays, going for drinks with friends, massages, things that just bring out the best of you. Things that stimulate your senses are always a great
Because I think sometimes, like, just being single can also sometimes feel a bit like lonely. Like, for example, I'm in a situation where, like, I'm single.
Yeah.
All of my friends around me are in couples.
Yeah.
And I don't have that. And sometimes I'm like, oh, I wish I had that. But at the same time, like, I feel like I'm so focused with work.
Yeah.
That's in the way of me wanting to look out for people, and that's blocked that, if that's made sense.
Yeah, I think nothing takes away from that experience, and this is probably why Bridget Jones' Diary, that movie did so well, right? Because people could relate to it. There's nothing, I say nothing worse, I'm sure there is things that are worse, but you know, it's not a great experience when all your friends are kind of dating or in relationships and maybe having children and going on like couple holidays together, and you know, you're sort of eating popcorn and eating ice cream on a Saturday afternoon.
Me.
Yeah, it can be really lonely and really difficult, and I think it's important to acknowledge that. I really do, but I think it's also important to treat yourself and love yourself in a way that you want a new partner to love you.
Yeah. Do you feel like the dating apps work?
When you said that, the first thing that I thought was no. That's what I want to say. No. Look, I think my views are very controversial with dating apps, so I don't know if I'm the best person to ask. However, I will say it nonetheless.
But you're an expert.
I will say it. I feel like dating apps are a business. You know, I think that, you know, if they did it in a way that you all came off it, you know, with a partner, then they wouldn't have a business. So I think that there has to be something that they do to make sure that not too many of the people that you might like, you know, come your way. That's my own personal opinion.
Well, that is tea, because there is an algorithm, obviously, and every app has an algorithm.
Absolutely.
And I think that is very true, because I've been looking on my Tinder recently and it's not looking cute.
Right. Right.
Like, I'm looking at my people that are liking me. I'm like, no.
Yeah.
Either I'm getting older and they're getting not as cute. Like, what's going on?
Well, think about TikTok. You know, you look at one video on TikTok and they will send you 10,001 videos of something similar, right? Sometimes you kind of regret even looking at one thing because you're like, oh, Jesus, okay, enough. Like, they'll just send you everything. So what is the reason that dating apps are not doing the same? You know, like why
The
is it that
business.
yeah, and also there are some dating apps where they don't allow you to filter either. So, for example, if you are from an ethnic minority, let's say you're, I don't know, from an Indian background, you want to meet an Indian person, you have a right to say that's the filter that I want to look for an Indian person. There are so many dating apps where you can't do that. So you have to filter through everyone, their cat and their dog before you meet the sort of 1% of Indian people that you're looking for. So I think there are things that some dating apps have got it on point.
Yeah.
But I think there's so many more that
Charlene,
haven't.
help. Help me. Help me. Why am I single? What am I doing wrong?
Well, do you know, sometimes it's just about timing. Sometimes it might be that you're not doing anything wrong.
Yeah,
Maybe it's
but
about timing.
I've been to like a psychic every year. And they
what have
always
they
say same to me, this year is the year you're gonna meet someone, and they haven't turned up.
Sack the psychic.
I think sack the psychic. What am I doing wrong? What's going on?
Well, I think the thing is this. I think that you just have to kind of make sure you're out there, make sure you're in the right spaces. Because sometimes what can happen, particularly when you're busy, and it sounds like you're quite a busy bee, that you're not in the environments that you need to be in to meet the types of people that you want to meet. So maybe it's about being a bit more strategic so that you are in spaces with people that are the kind of people that you could date.
Do you have any mates?
Any gay mates?
Come on, yeah, I know. If you
be
gay
great.
auditionees, I'm single.
I think you'll be great on Married at First
I would
Sight.
be great. I need to find someone. I'm dying for it. Honestly, if they looked ugly, I'd be like, amazing, great. You've matched me with them for a reason.
Yeah.
Ugly is not a nice word, actually. I feel like watching MAFS has made me need to change my terminology.
Yeah.
And
Well,
think,
this is the good things. I feel like with Married at First Sight, there are things that people say on the show that make us think about what we say. So that's a good thing.
100%. No,
Yeah.
I like, especially like being so picky about like things like height and stuff. Like I get we all love height, and girl, I love a bit of height.
Yeah.
I need to be with someone that's taller than me.
Yeah.
But like I'm also like it wouldn't be the end of the world if they were the same height as me.
Yeah. I think for some people it really is a deal
It's
breaker.
really a deal breaker, just someone's height.
Yeah. It's true. And I think if you're, for example, a tall woman and you're heterosexual, you want a guy, it could be that you want to feel like really nice and protected and really safe, and you might not experience that so much if you're tall, right? Because I suppose most people might be the same height as you or shorter. So I get it, but I think that it's a shame when so many people rule out people that are shorter.
How do you spot a narcissist?
Oh, that's a good question.
How do you know when someone is a narcissist and you need to run?
Well, it's interesting actually because I, a few months ago, worked with a client, and when I was working with them, I could really, I knew that they were a narcissist. I could just hear it. They weren't taking on the feedback. They were kind of, I suppose, like in their own world a little bit, you know, like just spinning it around on me, like make me think they're doing things and they're actually not. You know, they're just kind of in their own world. They don't really care about the impact of others. You know, I was speaking to this person about like empathy and, you know, the power of empathy, and they were sort of saying this, that, you know, they were sort of telling me what I wanted to hear, but I knew that empathy was not a part of their world at all, because power is really important for narcissists, isn't it? So yeah, I think anyone that's not empathetic, anyone that needs power, needs to be in charge, anyone that kind of gaslights you, turns it back around on you, those sort of behaviours, I think oftentimes that's sort of narcissistic behaviour, isn't it?
I know many.
Yeah.
Do you know what it is? I think because like as a gay guy, like I have so many girlfriends, like, and like
Yeah.
I see as these guys, well, women can be narcissists too, I guess, as well.
Yeah.
But the guys that they're with, like I've seen so many relationships where like some men are really crazy manipulators, and they can really get into the girl's head. And like, for example, like I know someone that's been cheated on, but the guy has got through it and found a way to turn it on. It's your fault, basically.
dear,
Do you know what I mean?
It's hard, and I think even if you are someone that has the highest self-esteem, you can still get caught up in the trap of the narcissist, because the way they do it is so careful and so strategic, so sophisticated. The manipulation is
so
on point.
calculated.
Oh, it's on point. And if you get sucked into it, and this is why, you know, when you get someone that's maybe going through a divorce and they've divorced someone who is a narcissist, they sort of say like, I don't know who I am anymore. Like, I don't know like what my thoughts are, what my beliefs are. Like, am I good? Am I bad? Like, they just don't know anymore, because what's been projected onto them is this: you are bad.
And do you feel like that's the narcissist person? Is that from childhood? Is that from childhood, would you say?
Yeah, oftentimes it kind of starts from that, you know, like it's, in a way I sort of see it as like a defense mechanism to kind of get you through life, you know. And I think it's worked for them. You know, they've managed to stay powerful. They've managed not to get close to people. But oftentimes they get to a stage where they realise that actually no one really wants to be around them. And even then, sometimes they still don't change.
Have you ever been in a narcissistic relationship?
Yes.
You
I think
have.
most of us have, though,
I think we all have at some point in our life.
Yeah, I don't know. I wouldn't say he was an absolute narcissist, but I think he definitely had narcissistic traits, 100%. And this was many years ago. And I think, yeah, as I said, you know, when you come out of a relationship like that, you start to think to yourself, like who am I? Like, what am I? Like, you know.
You forget who you are, and you
do.
And you look back and you're like, what was I doing? Was I delusional?
Right, yeah. You think, oh, why was I in this relationship with this person? And also as well, when you're in it, because the person isn't always horrible, you know, this is the thing, right? They're not always horrible. So if they're always unkind, you think, okay, yeah, I can just get out of there. But when they're sometimes nice and sometimes not, they can sort of slap you in the face, sort of metaphorically speaking, but then also give you flowers.
Has being on the show changed how you are? Like, have you learned a lot from this, and has it changed the way you look at different couples?
I think it's definitely given me more tolerance around people's behaviour.
Yes.
Yeah, I think
Growth.
Because I think the thing is, it's like, it's so easy to judge people on the show and think, oh, I wouldn't behave like that. But, you know, when you give them the feedback and they make the changes, you know, for me, I feel like actually, like, there's something in that. We're talking about real people and you know, people make mistakes. So I think the show's definitely helped me to see people in a different light.
Do you ever stay in contact with some people after the show?
There's quite a few of them now, because it's like 5 seasons in. But yeah, there's definitely a few of them that, you know, send me like messages and things like that. Georges actually just sent me a message to ask me to come on his podcast a few hours ago, actually, which was lovely. Yeah. But yeah, we all sort of stay in contact. Shanita, Peggy, there's quite a few of them at the moment, so.
Oh yeah, I always see Peggy at events somewhere. She loves an event.
Yeah, absolutely.
What advice would you give to singles looking for love today?
I would say take the pressure off yourself. I think if you're going to go on a dating app, also make sure you go out and about, do fun things as well. So you're doing a bit of both. And also just do the very best to love and treat yourself the way that you want a partner to love and treat you. Don't just sit at home waiting for the guy or the girl to treat you like gold. Like, treat yourself like gold first.
I love that. Do you feel like, so this is how I kind of date. So I go on dates with people and I feel like I don't have like a checklist, but I kind of like, I'm in a state of my life where I don't want to waste time with someone.
Yeah.
So I would know instantly if that person is my person.
Yes.
Is that bad to cut someone off straight away from like one first date?
Are you cutting them off because your heart is saying that this isn't the person for you?
Yeah. And I just kind of just know, like, oh, this isn't my future person, if that makes sense.
And what kind of leads you to
sometimes it can be a lot of things. So for me, it's like, I personally want someone that's very much comfortable, financially stable.
Yeah.
They're doing their own thing. They're independent.
Yeah.
They have ambition. They have drive. And sometimes if they don't have drive or one of those things, I kind of cut that person off, because I'm like, well, I just don't see it lasting.
I think that's not a bad idea. I think if you feel like your values are not aligned and your interests and hobbies, then that's important to cut it off as soon as you feel like it's not working. You know, you're quite an ambitious person. You've been very successful. So it sounds like what drives... Yeah, right? So it sounds like what drives you is being around people like that. That's stimulating for you. That's motivating for you. And I think if someone isn't on the same page as you with that, then that's fine to acknowledge. But it sounds like what you're saying is that I'm not sure if I'm doing this the right way. Like, should I be like hanging on to this person? I think you just have to trust yourself.
Trust myself, yeah. Because I feel like I know what I want, and I feel like when I meet that person, I'll know.
Yeah, and sometimes when we think of an ex, and of course people are exes for a reason, so of course it didn't work out. But when you think about when you first met the ex, like, you knew, right? You knew that this was a person that you actually...
I was a bit delusional at that time.
Maybe not a good example.
I don't know what was going on then, but yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, I was a bit crazy, but at the time I was in love. I felt like I'd met the one. But I think that one relationship made me grow so much to where I'm like, I would never do that again, if that makes sense. Like, I'm like, I've learned from that.
Yes.
And I think it's made me the person I am now, to where I know what to do for the next person.
Yeah. Good.
Yeah. Let's talk about your book.
Yes.
So this is your book. What's the book called?
So come closer. So
Oh,
everything
come closer.
Come closer. A bit of play with words.
Yes, I love it. I'm going to grab the book.
Yeah, so basically it's pretty much, I suppose, a handbook for people that want to know anything about the world of sex and intimacy. So each chapter has an intimacy task.
Let's talk sex.
Let's
Everything you ever wanted to ask a sex and relationship therapist. I love the book.
Yes.
It matches my outfit so well.
It does indeed. It does. And also the fact is I get lots of DMs from people, like paragraphs and paragraphs of their story. So really all the answers are now in the book.
And how long did it take you to write this?
About a year.
Yeah.
About a
And you
year.
feel like this is like generally like what people always ask you, and like this is like your guide and
what
help.
people want to know. So sexual dysfunctions, so premature ejaculation, delayed ejaculation, erection issues, issues around having orgasms, how to kind of get the spark back in your relationship, sex toys. I mean, sex education, literally everything's in the one book. So by the time you read that book, you will never say to me, Charlene, I don't know what I'm doing in the bedroom again. Yeah.
What is like one thing that people always, would you say, generally like come to you for advice for when it comes to in the bedroom?
I would probably say, well, with couples, it's usually around like mismatched libidos. So one person wants sex more than the other.
Yeah.
That's usually the issue. Orgasm issues, that's always there. And usually conflict management, which is not very sexy, but yeah, just always arguing, how do we kind of get through this?
And is sex, would you say, is normally like the best way to heal
Get through
that?
it?
Yeah.
Sometimes, but not always. I think sometimes sex can mask deeper issues. So, you know, if it's like a light argument and you've both been a bit silly because you're a bit tired, then maybe sex could work in a way that you just want to have a bit of fun and let's just forget it. But if you're talking about deep-rooted issues in your relationship, then sometimes sex isn't the answer. It just literally puts a plaster over it for a little while. And as soon as you orgasm, it's like, yeah, tell me more about what you said last night. I didn't like that. You know? So you go back to that again.
Have you had like some really amazing feedback from people from
Yeah,
reading this
definitely.
book?
I mean, it's really interesting because I've also got the audio book of Come Closer. And what's really interesting...
Is it your voice?
It's my voice.
Yes.
So
I never know how people do that because I'm like, I'd be so stressed out like
Yeah.
about like like saying a
Yeah,
sentence.
lots of water. And also you want to make sure that you really get the tone right as well. So even though it's my words, it's like, I'm like, can I do this again? No, let me just do this again. Because I want to make sure that the tone is right. And I had a client who said to me, Charlene, this is really weird, but like, you're in my bedroom right now. Like, she was playing, she pressed play and my voice was like reverberating around the room. So she was like, this is really weird.
I bet it's quite ASMR-y.
I'd like to think so. Well, there's definitely moments that I kind of deepened my voice and went a little bit quiet.
Oh, to like just accentuate the room.
Just to kind of get people in that mood.
And you have a game.
Yes, I
A
do.
sex game.
Yes.
I love this. Show me the game.
Yeah, so these are my sex quiz cards. And these are basically just for couples who want to kind of learn a little bit more how to kind of have conversation around sex. So oftentimes people say, we haven't had sex for ages. How do we even start that conversation? And I'm like, well, sex quiz cards.
Oh, and you made these cards yourself?
Yes.
Love
my
that.
questions.
So you have your book and your own game.
Indeed, yes.
And can you play this like just as if you're a single person, or is this for many couples?
So it's for both. So sometimes single people like it because it gives them an opportunity to just learn about the things that they like. So there's like a question on there like around like anal sex or things like that. It just kind of helps you think about like, what do I actually like? What do I
Oh my
enjoy?
god, can you ask me a question? One of
Yeah.
those. Yeah, let's play the game.
Okay.
Just one card though.
Okay.
I want to play the game.
You get a bit
What's the
nervous
game
there.
called?
So it's just intimacy coach sex quiz cards.
Sex quiz
The
cards.
sex quiz cards. Okay, let's give you a good one.
Yes, give me a good
All
one.
right,
Ah, I love this.
Okay.
Monica's next. I'm joking.
Okay. Let's see. So this could be thinking about things that you've like sexual experiences you've had in the past. Okay. So of all the things my partner does to me sexually, what turns me on the most is
Kissing my neck.
okay.
Yeah, I
Yeah?
love it when a guy kisses my neck.
Quite sensual.
Yeah, and
Yeah.
I love. Oh my god, I've recently been loving when a guy kisses my ear.
Yes.
I don't know what, something about that. I'm like, oh
Yeah,
god.
it's very sensual, isn't it? Like
Yeah,
the
it's just
nerve
like the
endings.
breathing and the.
Yeah.
yeah.
I get that. Okay. All right. What position do you prefer to be in to enjoy oral sex?
Oral. Is oral like, what position? Ooh. I guess, like, what's this one where I can't, what's that one? Well, like, I'm on my back.
Legs spread open.
Legs spread open, I guess. Yeah, that's the one.
Yeah. So these kind of questions.
I love it.
Yeah. It kind of just gets you thinking about, like, what does it for me?
What do I enjoy?
Yeah. And, then when you have a partner that says, what do you like? Oftentimes people are a bit stumped. But actually, when you kind of know yourself, you can say, actually, this is what I like.
Well, I have a confession.
Yes.
Okay, so I think being a feminine guy,
Yeah.
you're automatically put in a box of being a bottom. Like, that's just like
Right.
where society would say you go to.
Yeah.
This is the year where I've actually experienced the other bunk.
Good.
And like,
and
I know,
did you
I
enjoy
can't
it?
imagine myself doing it either. I'll be so real, but I enjoy it.
Good. You know what I think what's great about that is I think that we need to take ourselves out of this like sexual script box, right? Where
Right.
it's like, this is what needs to happen in a relationship, whether a gay relationship or heterosexual relationship, this needs to happen this way. Because when you just experiment and have fun and be playful,
It's
you realize
so much more fun.
it's so much better.
Rather
But we
than-
don't always give ourselves permission to just have fun and do what works for us. So good on you for doing that.
I think no, but I think this is also the year where I've actually like spoken up when it comes to having sex, where I'm
Right.
like, I let the partner know what I enjoy. And I
Yeah.
feel like normally I wouldn't. And I know a lot of girls that are similar that are like, they wouldn't really say what they like because they just don't know how to.
Yeah, and sometimes people feel a bit nervous, a bit embarrassed. They maybe feel like their partner might judge them. But I think actually, if you're with a partner that makes you feel emotionally safe, then you should be able to have a laugh with them. You should be able to be very honest with them about what it is that you like.
Basically, this is what I like.
Yeah.
And I let them know.
Yes, good. Good.
What are these toys? So we have a whip.
Yes. So we've
Is
got
this something you would
so a bit
use
of a
in the
flogger.
bedroom?
Yeah, or out of the bedroom. Depends how freaky you are. You can decide where you want to use that. But the idea is to play around with sensation. So the flogger helps to kind of think about kind of what works. Do you like it against your leg? Right. Well, you obviously like it against your thigh. Okay. Or like against your arm. Do you put like lubricant on? Because that can kind of heighten the sensation. So you can just have a bit of a play with it, sort of see what you enjoy. It might be that you like blindfold your partner and you massage their back and you kind of use the kind of tassels on the flogger.
50 Shades,
yeah.
like vibes. I love
Yeah.
listening to music.
Yes, that can be really good. Very.
I think you go to the beat as well.
Yeah.
like if it's Pussycat Dolls, I'm like, it's like really, hey. Then we're hair flipping. Monica's like, what the hell is this episode? I'm like, I know this is my favorite episode. Yeah. Right. But I have, I think, 3 more final questions.
Yes.
Has dating changed, or are we just experiencing the same struggles in a digital wrapper?
I think dating has changed. I think the introduction of dating apps and social media in general has made things just
More shallow.
more shallow. Yeah, and also like if you think about it, like back in the day, before we had social media, you'd go to like maybe a club, you'd meet somebody, you think great, you'd want to kind of work on it a little bit, right? But now you think the person's like said boo the wrong way, and we're like, oh, we just go back on the app.
It's so
Surely
true.
someone else better there.
Everyone gets sick so fast.
So quickly, right? And then you go on the app and of course you meet somebody and they will say boo in a different way and you'll be like, nah, I don't really want that either. So it's just that kind of dopamine rush, and it's just, it just gets a little bit silly sometimes, I think. Yeah.
Do you like the way dating has changed, or do you wish we could go back a little bit?
There's some pros and cons. I think, there's a lot more single events now coming out where people are looking for more in real life event, like in real life kind of
Like a speed dating.
situations. Yeah. Or like, singles networking events, or there's like singles boat parties, things like that, where you can just have a bit of a laugh and meet people in real life. I think when I think about like partners I've met in the past in real life, it's been like amazing, like the energy, the vibe. And then with online dating, you just have to kind of get through all the muck before you finally find the one. So,
That one final question. What's the most weirdest fetish someone's ever said to you?
okay, so this fetish I say quite a lot, and I always think to myself, oh my gosh, if this person's listening in, they'll be like-
They won't
although there's a few people actually that have this fetish, so I'll say different versions. I'll just tell you. So I suppose one person had a fetish where so it was a guy, and he loved to smell his partner's vagina, vulva.
The vulva, professional.
Right, yeah. So Yeah. But what he would say is that it needed to be as smelly as possible. So he wanted, like, you know, that she's come back from the gym or she's just woken up in the morning.
That doesn't surprise me, though. I think that's a thing.
He would also say that he would actually prefer if she was on her period or...
Okay, that's not normal. But fair enough. Love that for
like
you.
when she's just gone for like a wee, but he was like, the smellier the better kind of thing. And he would prefer if she didn't like wash for a couple of days, because he said that smelling it really kind of was sexually stimulating for him. So I wouldn't say it didn't shock me, but I think this is like early on in my career. When I first heard it, I was thinking, oh, they don't teach you this on a sex therapy course. So it was a bit new for me.
What was your advice for that? Stop right now.
Well, I think he was like, you know, is there something wrong in this? And I think, you know, as long as you're not hurting anyone and you've got, like, you know, 2 consenting adults, then no, it can be
People
fine.
sell that shit.
Exactly,
People
make your
sell
money.
underwears and socks. I know someone that sells literally their shoes from like being worn in to men.
Yeah. Well, you know, different things turn on different people, and, you know, there's no shame in that.
So you would just be very supportive and be like, yeah, there's no shame in that. Like,
Yeah, like, as long as he's, like, not randomly, like, you know, smelling people's knickers without consent, you know, of course, that's a whole new thing, right? But if you're, you know, if it's consensual and your partner's okay with it and they enjoy it or they're turned on as well, then it could be a lot of fun.
was the partner fine with it?
He was single at the time.
Okay. Okay, I think I know. I think I know what went wrong.
Yeah, I don't know if he's still single, but yes,
Probably.
Yeah.
What do you think? Okay, I'm obsessed with you. So, like, I think what's really popular at the minute is like people love like puppy, like what is that mask thing? It's like a
you talking about a gimp mask?
Yes, like where they have that mask on and it's like a puppy mask.
Yeah,
that's like a fetish, isn't it? That I see around a little bit at the minute.
Yeah.
What's that fetish? I don't understand. Like,
well, I think the thing is with that oftentimes that's about kind of like more bondage you're talking about, so like the kind of domination, sort of submission. And when you're wearing like a gimp mask, whether it's like the dog mask or whichever mask you're wearing,
I'm thinking about the dog mask.
The dog mask, yeah. There's something about it that's quite submissive. You know, like if you think about a dog, it sort of follows you. You know, we've got the collar and the lead here, for example. Like there's something about that can feel quite erotic for both people involved. So you'll get them maybe like, you know, licking their master's toes and all that kind of stuff. And I think, look, it's not for everyone, and I think there are a lot of people that would probably frown when you hear things like that. I hosted my intimacy event in a few months ago in
had an
May,
intimacy
June.
event?
I had an intimacy event, yes.
Invite me to the next.
Yeah, special guest.
Please,
Yeah.
announcement. I'm here.
Absolutely. And it went really well. And I think what was great about it was we had like a dominatrix and we had a submissive, and her sub was all dressed in white and you could hardly see his face, and he was sort of knelt next to her on the floor, and he spoke as well, and he spoke about the power of being submissive, because he's always in roles where he's always powerful and he's always kind of having to make decisions. So he absolutely loved it. He was like, this is great, I get to just not have to think but just provide pleasure to my master, essentially. So I think all these kind of fetishes and kinks like help people to just tap into pleasure in a different way.
I mean, fair enough, I think. It's not harming me. It's not harming anyone. If it makes you happy, then fair enough.
Yeah.
I just thought I'd ask, because I always see the masks like somewhere, and I never
are you
really
tempted to
understood
try
it.
it? Is that
No, I don't know if I'd get pleasure out of that, but
No.
I'm so here. If that's your thing, I love that for you. I kind of like love the whole idea of being a dominatrix. I find that really hot.
It is, yeah, it's something
like
powerful in that.
If I was a woman, like being like a dominatrix in this like black leather outfit and like a whip and whipping men, that's kind of hot.
That's hot.
Like, it's like bad bitch. Like, yes, I
Yeah.
love that.
Yeah, I think a dominatrix feel like that, particularly if the person that they're whipping, well, obviously it's done consensually, but if they're like a lawyer or like a CEO of a company, so oftentimes
Love it. Yes.
where it's like they are used to being really powerful, and actually now they're on the floor.
You're my
doing-
bitch.
You're yeah, exactly that.
Before we end this, do you have a question for me? I always ask everyone at the end of a pod, do you have a question for me?
Okay.
Turn it around.
I suppose.
love this.
I mean, I know this is going to sound very therapy-like, but do you see yourself with someone?
Ooh. Yeah, I've seen I really would love to meet someone. I would love to, because all of my friends are, and I feel like I'm 25 and I would love to like settle down with someone, like have a dog. Like that would be the end goal and stuff.
Yeah.
But I don't know if my man is in the UK. And I've said this a few times. I feel like my man's in America.
Ah, okay.
Because I feel like my calling has always been like either to move to New York or I love traveling. So I just feel like that I'm going to meet someone while I'm like on a flight somewhere.
Yeah.
And then we'll bump into each other somehow.
Yeah. I think you need to be with someone that stimulates you. Like, you know, I mean, I know we all want to be with someone that stimulates us. I'm not just talking about sexually, but I feel like mentally, someone that kind of, that you look up to as well, because, you know, like I said, you are successful, you've got a bright personality, you know, a buzzing energy. And I feel like you need somebody that you're inspired by as well.
Yeah.
Not just that they're inspired by you.
But it's quite hard to find that, especially in my environment that I'm in.
Yeah.
Because I feel like I'm either at events, which is full of girls and gays.
Yeah.
Which is gay guys, fine, but then the gay guys are like me. We're all like the same. Yeah. And I need someone like a little bit opposite to me, I think.
Yeah.
Like a bit more, not like necessarily like masculine, but just a bit more like, bit more manly, I guess.
Yeah.
That's what I think I
what
find
you
it more
mean.
attractive.
I would say take the pressure off trying to find someone. I know that everyone says that, but I think take the pressure off trying to find someone, but strategically place yourself in spaces that bring out the best in you.
I love this. Well, hopefully when I find someone, we'll do a couples therapy pod episode.
Let's do it.
And then we can get couples therapy with you,
Yes,
Charlene.
Definitely. Definitely. And I'd love to gift you my card.
Yes!
As well,
oh my God, yes!
I am absolutely yours.
I love this.
Good.
This
Thank
logo is
you.
iconic. I
Thank
can't wait.
you.
I can't wait. This is, I'm going to be, you're using it. I'm using it. We're all using it. Thank you so much for coming on the podcast.
You're
And I can't wait for MAFS. Like every week, I'm excited.
Yes,
and I'm
watching.
really happy that we finally get to see you guys again, because you know, like how like the first 5 episodes, it's like the walking down the aisle and then we don't see the experts for a minute and then now we get to see you again. So I'm really, really excited. And make sure you tune in. What do you want to let everyone know when to watch Married at First Sight?
So Married at First Sight on E4, 9 p.m. Sunday to Thursday. But you can catch me on Charlene Douglas Official on my Instagram. I think Instagram's always really important to talk about as well. So my Instagram is Charlene Douglas Official, and my website is theintimacycoachuk.com, where you can get these beautiful cards.
Intimacycoach.com. Listen to that. Thank you so much for coming on. Bye, everyone. See you in the next episode.